It is Thursday afternoon. It's about 3:30. John's taking the kids for ice cream over to the marina. And I thought it was a perfect opportunity to record my stitch with me, because it meant then that I could also pour myself a cup of coffee and sit down and stitch for a few minutes. I've been sewing most of today. I have some new sets that I'm working on for the shop tomorrow. That I'm pretty pleased with. So time for a little break, a little stitching, and a little chat. So as you can see, even though it's July, almost July, it's not quite July, is it? Almost July. I am a year-round winter, Christmas, snow stitcher. Doesn't matter. It's probably the only holiday that I love to stitch year-round. It's pretty much the only holiday I really stitch for, period. But I love it. So this is White Christmas by ScissorTail Designs, and it's very small design. It's not terribly huge. I am not using. Am I using the called for? Yeah, I am. Let me show you the back here. I don't think I'm giving anything away. This is so it's called for 28 count crystal lock cashel linen, and I am using a 28 count cashel linen, but it's in the lichen colorway. And the called for B5200, I am using that. So that is as charted. But then my other two colors, this boysenberry and the, what's the other one? Is it only boysen? No, 413. Those I am switching out. I'm using, so you can see the boysenberry is for the scarf and the hat, and then the 413 is for the arms, the buttons, and the eye and the reindeer. So, you know, I'm using some soie d'Alger in a sort of burgundy maroon red that I had in my stash. It is beautiful silk. I'm a bit sad that I think this is all that I have in my entire stash, and that's what I used, of course, for the word Mary. It's smooth, it's soft, it's lovely to work with. That's been a treat. So I will be using that as well for the hat, the scarf, and so on and so forth. And I didn't have any 413 here with me, but I did have a skein of this Splendor silk, strandable. This is RG. What's that again? RG Splendor. I can't remember what RG is again. Oh, Rainbow Gallery. Of course it is. Rainbow Gallery. I knew that. This is a silk as well. It's a 12 ply, 100% silk, 8 yards. And the reason I had this was because I did a black work class with Liz Almond a number of years ago, and this was the silk that we used for that class. And I had that piece up here, brought that piece up here with me a few years ago, and I still had the silk left over, and I figured I only need 20 stitches, if that. So I figured I could use that silk for that. The really sweet thing about this, and I know you can't see it in the picture, but the pom-pom on top of the snowman's hat is actually done with French knots. So it creates a little bit of a 3D effect for the pom-pom that's at the top. So that's cute. Anyway, onwards with our snowman here. We are expecting a heat wave here in Ontario this coming weekend for Canada Day weekend. They are calling for temperatures to hit upwards of 40 degrees, plus 40 plus Celsius with the humidex. So I have a feeling it's going to be rather gross and sticky. At the moment, it's actually quite cool. I'm not sure you can tell, but I actually have my sweater on. Our cottage is quite well situated up on top of a bit of a hill. Not a hill per se, but we're sort of at the top of the island. And we have a very, very good cross breeze. And so as long as there's a bit of a wind, as long as there is even a bit of a slight breeze, it goes right through our cottage and cools it right down, and it's really quite nice. When it's deadly hot up here, because of course there's no air conditioning, is when there is no breeze at all and it's dead calm, dead still, and humid and hot, and then it is just, I mean, you just want to live in the lake all day. And at least we have that option, that we can just go and jump in the lake, as it were. Now I'm going to just go and open my window, and then you can hear if there's any birds singing today. It's a bit better. Because it's been a bit cool, I've had the windows in the bedrooms shut. Just the ones in the living room have been open. I'm glad that you enjoyed last week's video that I recorded outside. That was fun to do. I won't do that every week. I might do that every other week or even every third week as a bit of a treat so that you don't get sick of it. But also I think it's nice that we can feel like we're stitching together as well. Not that you didn't know I wasn't stitching last week. But yeah, the weather's going to warm up. We're going to a Canada Day luncheon on Sunday at one of the neighbors' places. We're quite friendly with 5 other families up here on the bay that have been coming for years and years. And we all get together a number of times during the season as a group. A few years ago, I started a tradition of having a pancake breakfast. And so now that's another thing that we look forward to. So we do a pancake breakfast, and every Thanksgiving weekend is the weekend that many cottagers up here close up their cottages and don't come back again until the spring. And so Thanksgiving weekend is kind of a wonderful time that we all get together. There can be as many as 25, 30 people, and we rotate between the families as to who is the host. And usually, now you have to remember, Canadian Thanksgiving is in October. So I know American Thanksgiving is at the end of November, if I'm correct. I'm pretty sure I'm correct. But Canadian Thanksgiving is always the second week of October, usually. Isn't it? Yeah, second week of October. And so I think, boy, I'm a terrible Canadian. To my memory, it's always the second week of October. So that's when, it's not like we're all closing up at the end of November. When you have your Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving's a little earlier. So we celebrate with turkey and ham and lots of friends, and whoever has friends or family up with them for the weekend at their cottage, everyone is welcome and invited to come. So that's why you never know how many people are going to show up. Some years it will blow a gale and you'll have you know, difficulty getting over to the other cottagers' place, but it's usually an exciting, fun time. So lots of traditions, and you know, our kids have grown up with these traditions as well since they were born, and it's a special time. We have lots of company coming this summer. Lots of family from overseas, family from across Canada, both sides, both John and my side. And that's always nice. Everyone's always, of course, in a bit of a vacation mood when they come here, so they're relaxed and have good conversation. Lots of coffee, lots of wine. Oh, my father-in-law is doing some pounding over at his place. That's the thing about up here, everything echoes for miles. So if you're hitting rocks or chopping wood, you can hear it if the wind is just right, the sound carries on the wind. Didn't hear the whippoorwill last night. That was the first night in about 5 nights that I didn't hear him. Maybe he's found his mate. But it was a beautiful call. Very persistent, but I didn't really mind it. If you haven't heard it, I did put in a recording of that call at the end of the episode that I did for Sunday High Tea. So if you're interested in hearing what a whippoorwill sounds like, if you've never heard one or you don't know what that bird is, you can have a listen to that. There, I think is that right? 2, 3, 4, and 1, okay. I have these sweet owl scissors that I like to use. I keep them up here. So they're my cottage embroidery scissors. B5200 is such a great white, isn't it? It's nice and bright. It shows up on so many different kinds of fabrics beautifully. In case you're new to these Stitch With Me videos and you're wondering what the heck I'm doing, how I'm threading my needle, this was a topic of great discussion a while back. When I am using 2 strands of DMC floss, instead of using 2 separate strands, I use one really long strand and I put my needle in the middle of that strand. And so I have the 2 ends of those floss. That piece of floss is at the end. And then I sew that in. And then my needle is at the very end of that, in the middle of that length of floss, and that becomes my end. And some people have tried this and liked it. Other people have tried it and hated it because they said they felt like their needle was trapped. And it's true, your needle is trapped in there. But I have found that I can get the maximum use out of the length of floss by doing it that way. And as long as you're careful and you don't make a big mistake that you wouldn't be able to unsew, stitch backwards, then it's fine. What I'll do is, if I have an error that's going to require me to rip out a bunch of stitches. I will simply just clip the needle off, unpick, and then rethread and continue. So my friend Adrian has fallen down the rabbit hole of diamond painting. And I've talked about diamond painting before because I've watched a few people. Oh, there's a plane, float plane. As the weekend approaches, we'll hear more and more float planes go overhead. There's a tour company in Parry Sound that offers tours over the bay, and many times a day we'll hear the float planes overhead taking people on tours. And also, I think there's a few islanders up here who actually own float planes, and that's how they get around, which is kind of cool. But you wouldn't catch me in one, that's for sure. You can barely get me on the boat. So, diamond painting. I have been wanting to watch, Danielle Stitcherista has been doing some diamond painting videos, and I know Sarah, her channel name escapes me at the moment, but I'll try to find it and talk about her channel on Monday. She's done some diamond paint with me videos as well, and that's where I first saw it, was on her channel. And it looks like something that would be really fun to do. So Adrian purchased a kit and started it and told me how much she loved doing it. And so I'm half considering ordering a kit for myself for my birthday. But I really don't need another craft, do I? But that's the problem. You know, you tend to fall down these rabbit holes, and it just looks like fun. And then you feel like you're missing out. Fear of missing out. Everybody's doing it. You need to do it too. And it seems fairly reasonably priced if I'm looking in the right places. Maybe I'm crazy. I haven't seen a lot of pictures yet that I would want to do, because I mean, I see a lot of pictures that I would love to do, as in, you know, I'd like to do them, but I'm not sure what I would do with them afterwards. They're not really pictures that I would put up on the wall as decoration. So I guess it would kind of be like doing a jigsaw puzzle. Except with a jigsaw puzzle, you can take them apart and put them back in the box. Diamond painting, once it's done, it's done. But I still think I want to give it a try. So there's a kit that I have in mind that I saw, and it's, you know, I like to do big projects. I don't tend to gravitate towards the small projects, and so the diamond painting picture that I liked is, of course, a multi-panel, massive thing that is a beach scene, and I quite like it. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I loved the comments that I got from people whose animals were reacting to the bird calls that they can hear in the videos. One lady even said that her canary started trilling along with the bird call at the end of last Friday's video, and I love that. I love that so much. The birds here are very chatty, which is nice. My father-in-law is coming over for dinner tonight. This is not an unusual occurrence since we're on the same small island and we're family. It's quite normal that we get together all together as a family to have dinner. And so chicken's on the menu, chicken and broccoli. My children could eat broccoli like it's candy. I don't know if your kids are the same, if you have children. But if I put some butter and salt on some cooked broccoli, they will eat 2 heads. You know, I need to prepare 2 heads of broccoli now. Now, a head, I guess I should say a bunch. A bunch? Or is it a head? You know, when you go to the grocery store and you buy a bunch of broccoli, which usually has 2 or 3 heads in it. Well, I need to purchase 2 bunches and cook the whole thing. And my family eats it like it's candy, which is, you know, no complaints there. It's good for you. So other than that, I'm not quite sure, maybe some rice on the side. So that's my plan for dinner. So this is Thursday. So by the time you see this video, we will have already eaten that dinner. And I'll be trying desperately to come up with what we're going to have for dinner tomorrow night. It's always something to think about, isn't it? What are we going to have for dinner? There we go. All right, last white thread from this length. It's been nice to see some progress on a piece, so I can understand the allure of small pieces. They're definitely much more finishable. My goal is to have this one done before I start hoity-toity. And also, I've been making really good progress on my modern folk embroidery mystery sal. I'm looking forward to sharing that with you on Monday because I have been, you know, getting some stuff done. Getting some stitches into that piece, which has been lovely. John brought up about 30 episodes of MasterChef Australia that we need to catch up on, which is always one of our favorite things to watch in the summer. So we'll put a few episodes on after dinner tonight, and I plan on putting a few rows in the shawl that I'm working on at the moment and a few more lengths of thread in my mystery sal. I'm probably only going to work on those 2 pieces so this one and the mystery sal until I start hoity-toity, maybe. Famous last words. Because I brought up the threads for, let me show you because actually it's right behind me. Do you remember this one? I showed this many months ago. This is Autumn's Fruitful Labor, which I love. I'm stitching this on a 40 count linen, and I have a lot of the bottom done. I can't remember about all these flowers, but I know I have at least the bird and the bottom border is done. And I've brought my threads and I've brought this whip with me. This one I may pull out at some point during the next week. So those 3. Modern folk embroidery, this one which I'm going to finish, and Autumn's Fruitful Labor. Brenda Gervais is very talented. Her designs are very appealing to me, and I think, you know, generally across the board to a lot of people. They're sweet, but they're old-fashioned and, you know, beautiful colors. Just a pleasure to stitch. One of the only downsides to being up here is that I feel like I'm missing a lot on FlossTube and the stitching community that's sort of, on YouTube, because I can't watch anything. I just can't watch anything. I don't know how to. If anyone knows how to download stuff from YouTube, let me know. Maybe it's something simple that I just have no idea about, that I could ask John to maybe put some on a flash drive for me and bring it up. But as far as I know, there's no easy way to download stuff on YouTube. So the most amount of data that we use I put towards uploading my own FlossTube videos. So it's a shame, because I know that I'm missing out and I want to see all of your projects. So I have been spending a little bit more time on Instagram and Facebook to sort of get my fix for that, for the online community. Oh, because boy, oh boy, there's just so many amazing things being stitched. And it's just so inspiring for your own stitching to watch someone have, some fantastic progress on their piece. Solar panels have been doing well, keeping up with my sewing machine. I also have my LED. It's not an OT light, it's a sort of knockoff of an OT light. And then I have another one called a natural light that is also LED. And I use the solar power for those lights. We now have a new LED light in our bathroom, which is luxury. So we have enough power for that. We even have a new fan in the bathroom, believe it or not, that's run off the solar. And at the moment, we've switched over our fridge. We were using a propane fridge up until this year. And this summer we're trying out something different. We've got two, what are in effect bar fridges. They're larger than, what you would expect in a college dorm or something like that. But we have two of them stacked on top of each other, bolted together and plugged in, obviously. And they are being run off of our solar panels. So that's been a little bit of it's actually working out quite well, because we don't need to use two fridges when it's only, when it's just Nicholas and I up here. We only need one small fridge, so I can unplug I can unplug one of them, and then when we have company or the whole family is here, we can plug in the second one and use it as well. As we have the propane fridge is in the boathouse, so we can use that as well. So it's working out rather nicely. I'm kind of pleased about that. Okay, so I'm going to finish this thread and then wrap it up, because I think I can hear the boat coming back. And I don't need the chatter of the rest of my family asking me what the heck I'm doing, talking to myself. They all know, but it's still not something that I make a big deal out of. Oh, I'm going to go and talk to myself for half an hour. They're funny. Oop, one more stitch. I can do it. One more. Plenty of thread. Plenty of thread. Okay, there we go. There. Our snowman also has a middle snowball. Almost has a middle snowball. Cute. Sew that in. There we go. That's it for me. To all my fellow Canadians, Happy Canada Day. Happy Canada Day on Sunday. I hope you have a wonderful holiday with your friends and family. And if you're able to watch the fireworks, I hope that they're bright and glorious and that you have a fantastic time. Happy Canada Day. And to my American friends, I will be recording a video on Monday, and I will wish you a happy Independence Day when I see you on Monday. Take care. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to join us on the Facebook group, Friday Off the Grid, if you're looking for some pretty great companionship online. It's a pretty nice place to be. That's the Friday Off the Grid group on Facebook. Happy weekend, happy stitching, and I'll see you Monday.